Hey everybody, my name is Dan, and in this video I'm going to show you how we installed this modern lock on this vintage trailer. In another video, I did spend a lot of time fixing up the old handles and locks. There we go, that door handle's back on, but I'm not entirely satisfied with it. From the paint job to this little patch in the back and how there's the gap there because of that. But in the end, I didn't want to keep it because there's a mismatch between this back and the handle, and I needed to do some repairs on the door anyway. And plus, I wanted a modern electronic lock. And I think this came out pretty darn well. We bought this Kwikset Smartcode lock with the polished chrome finish.
That's quite a few parts.
I think that'll look pretty good. And the first step, of course, is to remove the old door handle. And you can see how rough this whole installation looks. And plus, there are pop rivets, which we want to replace with solid rivets. This little patch here has always been annoying because it wasn't big enough to let the door handle sit flush against the door. You can see how often it's been modified. Not only is this beat up, but our latch will be going through a round hole. Now we need a patch that's big enough to cover the holes in the door and accommodate the new handle. Following the rivet spacing on the trailer, I'm laying out a hole for rivet every inch. The hole for the lock has to be pretty accurately placed, and I referred to the directions to see where it went. I did my best to locate it accurately on the patch. I don't have a big enough hole saw for this, so I'm going to drill an entry hole and then use a jigsaw with a metal blade to cut out this circle. And then clean it up with a file. And the first test fit shows I need to do a little more filing. And there we go. Now drill and deburr all the rivet holes, and that's the front patch done. There we go. Let's make the patch for the edge of the door now. For aesthetics, we decided to make it the same length as the front patch. The edge isn't rectangular, so here I'm holding it up and tracing the contour of the door. Then snipping it off. Here's the latch, and you can adjust it to be 2 different lengths depending on the placement of your lock. We're not going to use these rectangular pieces. You can pry them apart with a flathead screwdriver and remove them. Instead, we're installing this circular collar that snaps into place. The latch has to be aligned with the center of that main hole in the front. And I traced the location of the old catch to figure out where to put the 1-inch hole for the new latch. To make a clean hole, I sandwiched the plate between 2 pieces of wood, then used a 1-inch bit to drill through it. That worked really well. So just a bit bigger than 1 inch. And we'll try to press that in later. Just like with the front patch, lay out rivet holes every inch, drill and deburr, and it's ready to install. First, I need to remove a bit more of this edge so the latch can go through that hole. It's looking good already. Now use the patch as a template to drill the rivet holes and secure it with some clecos before drilling the rest. As always, make sure to deburr those holes, and then it's just a matter of riveting.
Set. 3. 3.
And there it is installed. It's pretty much the same for the front patch, but before we rivet it in, we apply some of this waterproofing sealant to the door and the patch.
All right, I think one more up in the top in the middle, there, the top left. Yeah, see, you knew exactly which one needed it.
Remember that we decided that was overkill?
Set.
3.
Set.
3.
You'll want to remove the tape and the excess paint as soon as possible. Now that we have the door repaired, we can work on installing the latch. Yes! Look at that! That went in much easier than I expected. How good does that look? Now let's see how this fits. That's looking pretty good. This is sticking out a little bit, so we'll need to file the opening that way a little bit because it's pushing it out. See how it's sticking out just a little bit there? After a bit of filing, now that's fitting in there really well. To be able to install this lock, I will need some kind of back on this door, which of course is non-existent right now. And so what I'm gonna do is put a block of foam here. I'll cut around this so it can fit over here. Now it looks kind of like a door. So now we have some thickness, which will allow us to put this there. And of course that's not the final look, but this will hold it for now. The next step is to put this in, and this goes through the latch and into the handle part. And that's what allows you to rotate. Now we plug this in, and it wants the cord tucked away on these little clips, like that. Of course, we want that to go there. There we go. Now we need the screws. I can see it lining up there. Yeah, that looks like it's lining up. Now we just want to make sure that that's straight up and down, that it's plumb, and we can tighten these up. Okay, that's solid on there. And of course, eventually we'll want a real backdrop, like maybe it'll be a piece of aluminum there. So this is where we're at now. Both sides mounted, and we just need to put the handles on. This is the exterior handle. As you can see, it has a hole here, and that's to be able to access the grub screw with this Allen wrench once it's in. But it has a little trick. So this is where it goes. But without the key in there and without it rotated, there's nothing to grab. You can't reach the grub screw. So when you put the key in, rotate it, that's when you can go in there and actually feel that grub screw. And the handle's on. You can see the grub screw easier here because this is the indoor handle and it doesn't need to be as hidden. And this comes with a little cap for the interior handle. To install the battery, that slides up, and it comes with a 9-volt. So just plug it in, put it in like that. That right there is the programming button, and you need to hit that to enter a code on the door, which I'll show you how to do now. Press P. You'll hear it beep twice. Now you press 1. Kwikset. Now enter your code. Then press Kwikset. And that flashed green and made a noise, so now it should be good. If that lever is down, this is unlocked. This lever's up, this is locked. And then that's when you need to enter the code. And it lets you unlock it, but it only does it for a short period of time. To close this, just slide the cover back on. This always works, no matter what. In this mode, you can always open from the inside, and it's locked from the outside. So let's see if the key, there we go. So if you don't have the code, the key will still work. This part still needs some work, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do here yet. The latch is catching in here, but this one isn't needed, and I don't think another patch will fit. As a reminder, here's where we started, and this is where we ended up. Overall, this part of the project cost about $120, which was the price of the lock. And my mom and I spent about 6 hours fixing up the door and installing it. So that's how we installed this lock. I hope this video was helpful, and see you next time.
Hey, I'm Dan, and my mom and I bought some land out in the countryside to build a house. And to help with that, we thought we should have a trailer. So why not renovate a 1949 Spartan Manor? So if you want to see how these go, plus some other random DIY stuff, subscribe and follow along.